It's been a while since we've done a react on Sunny's video, so how about we check out Sunny's newest video, the stupidest criminals of all time. Like, I imagine if League of Legends players started socializing and went outside and they became criminals, what would they do? So let's see what they would do.
In 2009, Matthew McNally and Joey Miller robbed a home in Iowa using masks drawn onto their faces with permanent black marker. Whilst on the run, the two discovered that permanent black marker doesn't rub off easily, leading to their simple arrest and embarrassingly stupid mugshots.
I mean, technically that's the whole definition of permanent, you know?
However, these two still look like geniuses in comparison to some of the other idiots we'll be talking about as we discuss the stupidest criminals of all time.
Nice.
Take for example MacArthur Wheeler, who robbed two banks in broad daylight as he thought that pouring lemon juice on his face would make him invisible to cameras. When shown the bank surveillance footage, Wheeler refused to believe that he was visible,
Refused to believe.
to officers, but I wore the juice.
What, bro, you wore the juice? What do you mean it didn't work? What do you mean your camera saw me?
Believing that as long as he didn't come near a heat source, he should have been completely invisible.
Oh my god, bro. Just let him juice, yeah, instead of cooking, but just let him juice.
Police concluded the Wheeler was not crazy or on drugs, just incredibly mistaken, with the lemon juice mistake eventually costing Wheeler a 24.5-year prison sentence.
Chat, when life gives you lemons, you make invisibility potion, that's what you do and rob a bank.
However, if we're on the topic of terrible disguises, then we can't go past Dennis Hawkins, whose disguise as an old lady wasn't much better.
Yeah, that's supposed to be old lady. Sir, I don't think that mustache fits you, and that beard.
His sweater accompanied fake boobs, a full beard, and fittingly clown pants, with this insanely recognizable outfit helping police to catch Hawkins only an hour after the robbery. The police chief for the area stated, "He would get my nomination for dumbest criminal, I think. You still have his black facial hair with a blondish wig. Definitely different."
If you want to be next level genius when it comes down to being a criminal, bro, that's the idea I have. All you have to do is paint fake tattoos, not using permanent marker, yeah? Just use fake tattoos. So when the example is that you're robbing a bank, and the bank teller will tell the police officers, oh, he had tattoos on his arms. Yeah? You go back home, you wash those tattoos away, that's it. They say, aha, it's you. Come here, to the police station, give us a statement. You say, sure, yeah, whatever. And then the bank teller is behind the mirror, identify the guy. Show your hands, you're showing the hands. You've got no tattoos. No, that's not that guy. You're free to go, easy.
Different. Different is also a good way to describe Patrick McGuire's disguise, who robbed an Illinois convenience store while covering his face with a clear plastic bag.
I'm starting to see a pattern in here. First of all, that was lemon juice, now it's plastic bag, not bad.
He was only able to obtain $60 from the robbery. However, due to his extensive criminal history, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for the stunt, meaning that he had to spend 1 year in prison for every $4 stolen from the store. Talk about a bad return.
Yeah, it's kind of bad investment, not gonna lie.
Really bad was Paul Sinclair's, who attempted to rob a bank in Florida by using his fingers curled up into a gun shape. The quote-unquote weapon was so non-threatening that the bank teller gave him only $120.
But it worked! Bro, it worked. He got $120. Just with these two guns, bro, you know? You're going shooting, bro. What if I have two guns? That's only one gun. What if I have two guns? Brother, that's $240 a day. Bro, that's a good income, not gonna lie.
After which he'd flee on foot before being caught by police only 10 minutes later. Then there was James Blankenship, who thought that robbery was legal as long as you did it at a certain time of day.
I fully understand that guy. I'm not judging him. Straight up, I'm not judging him. I understand where he's coming from.
Back in 2013, Blankenship broke into his own mother's home, after which the police were called, who would take to their Facebook page later that day to explain what had happened. He fled the scene upon seeing his mother. The male was located under the house hiding in a crawl space. When advised of his charges, he made the statement, "I thought you could only be charged with burglary if you break in during the night time."
It's just that simple, bro. You can commit any crime during the daytime because police officers and security guards and paramedics are working during the daytime. But during the nighttime, police officers are sleeping. They're people too, you know? That's why it's illegal to do robberies during the night. It's big brain.
Blankenship was given 180 days in jail and ordered to pay a $100 fine, yet this wasn't the only time when a person was dumb enough to think that a law didn't apply to them. Because when Ruben Pavin was caught stealing from a charity thrift shop in New Hampshire, he'd state that he thought everything was free because of the name of the business.
Wait, what?
Finders keepers. The state that he thought everything was free because of the name of the business. Finders keepers.
Technically, I'm with this guy, bro. If your shop is called Finders Keepers, well, legally, bro, it's in the name. I can take technically, I find stuff, I keep it, you know? It's that simple.
The sign did say Finders Keepers, so I took that DVD player, took it home, haven't told the local TV station. A couple of weeks later, the stuff is still there on the porch, so I'm thinking to myself, Finders Keepers. They probably just put stuff out there for people to take.
Honestly, we cannot blame that guy. That's 500 IQ to take. That's honestly genius idea, bro. Straight up.
The business responded via Facebook stating, "This man who was caught on video is saying it is all a misunderstanding. He thought everything at our store was free. Is that really the best defense you could come up with?"
Yes, because you could come up with a better name for your store, you know? I'm just saying.
After which Pavin reportedly turned in the stolen goods to police, holding that he's not a bad person or a bad dad, and is rather just unbelievably stupid.
True that. And then the best part is that he's getting a right to vote, he's getting a driver's license, so he is on the streets with the car, and they have a tendency to reproduce, which means his gene is strong in the gene pool, by the way. So that's part of our future generations, by the way. Yeah, so this is good.
But was he as dumb as Derek Mosley, who in 2013 attempted to rob a store named Discount Gun Sales by using a baseball bat? When
like, bro, that's some next level. I don't think he ever heard the saying, bro, don't bring a knife to a goddamn gunfight, to a shootout, you know? Or maybe he did hear it and he decided to take a bat. But brother, they have range advantage. They outrange you, brother. You are a melee, they are range. There's no way you can win. You have no gap closing in here, by the way.
Bat. When Mosley allegedly barged into Discount Gun Sales and smashed the display counter with his baseball bat, the store manager simply pulled out his own personal firearm and pointed it straight at the would-be robber, holding Mosley in the store until he was arrested and charged with first-degree robbery.
I'm telling you, they had the range advantage and they had the kick and traps. It's that simple.
A similar story then came out of Texas in July 2022 when a gun store was robbed at knife point, although this tale instead ended in a body bag as the robber was fatally shot by the...
Wait, was that Texas? Yeah, that's Texas, yeah. That's why I straight up love Texas. You f**k up with my property, bro, I can legally f**k with you. That's simple, bro. As long as I have a gun, you're done, brother. It's that simple.
Store owner as he tried to exit with his loot. But what happens when you accidentally call 911 whilst committing a crime?
How do you accidentally call 911? Oh, no, now think about it, bro. Yeah, there is an option. There is a stupid option, at least in my phone, that if you try to unlock your phone multiple times in a row by pressing the unlock button, it will automatically dial 911.
Pocket dialing the police is probably a fairly common occurrence. However, for Carson Reinhardt and Nathan Teklemariam, it happened at the most unfortunate moment, specifically while they were breaking into a car. The alert dispatcher soon realized that the call was an accidental one, and moreover that the guys on the other end might be up to no good. For the next 35 minutes, the dispatcher stayed on the line.
I'm not saying there could have been a better emergency, like, you know, there's... Considering the fact this is happening in Murica, what about maybe there's someone with a gun going to a school? Just saying, maybe we need an operator to react to that ASAP. Or you can just not do that, and you can just listen to the conversation for the next 45 minutes.
Listening and gathering information, as Teklemariam and Reinhardt did the following. Discovered a car that they thought they could burglarize, discussed how to break into the car, allegedly broke into the car, exclaimed in delight over finding narcotics in the car, became confused as to how and why a police car was following them.
Imagine they pinned the goddamn narcotics on them. Bro, just because you have evidence that you got it from the car. Like, this is the legit scenario. Where did you get the drugs? Well, legit, I found them. And this, bro, imagine they will ignore this in their sentencing. Oh my god, this is such a big brain mover.
And reacted in disbelief when the arresting officer revealed that they'd been on the line to 911 the entire time. Scott Simon found himself in a similar situation, although under much more severe circumstances. Whilst on trial for murder in 2015, Scott was successfully sentenced to life in prison, as 2 years prior he'd pocket dialed the police while admitting to a friend that he was the one who committed the crime. He had no idea he called 911. A sheriff's office spokeswoman told the Miami Herald. He basically...
But what about innocent until proven guilty? Like, bro, you can talk shit all you want. You can say, like, bro, I was DB Cooper, you know? I stole all of that money, but what is the evidence? You know? Just because he said he did it doesn't mean he did it.
He told on himself, as did Albert Bailey, although in a much stupider way. Bailey had planned on robbing a bank in Fairfield, Connecticut, although rather than exercising the element of surprise, he'd call the bank prior to the robbery stating, I want $100,000 in large bills and no die packs. I'll be sending someone into the bank to get the money. Don't call the police, we are monitoring the police scanner. Prior to making this phone call, Bailey had already served 7 years in prison for a previous bank robbery. However, this new plan was equally ineffective.
What was the plan, like, straight up? What was he imagining is going to happen? Like, you call the bank, tell them I need 100K. No die packs, but he's very percent with the die packs because die packs are kind of scary. When you're robbing a place, I'm going to pick it up in the next 20 minutes. Please, thank you for cooperation. That's the plan?
As after arriving at the bank to collect his cash, Bailey was locked inside, arrested, and sentenced to another 9 years in prison. Although, if he wanted to avoid this time behind bars, he could have had a chat with Tito and Amanda Watts, who got arrested in Florida for selling tickets to enter heaven at a price of $100.
Bro. Ticket to heaven, $100 a piece. I remember there was a book called Marketing or Sales for Dummies where a guy was literally selling pet rocks. He would go outside, he would go on the beach, he would go into the fields and he would collect rocks. He would draw a smiley face on them, and that's your pet. Yeah, basically a Pokemon. And he was selling that, and people were buying that. But ticket to heaven, $100 a piece. Like, there's no, but one part of me wants to see, like, but there's no way people actually bought that. But then I remembered, like, bro, imagine the average person, how stupid that thing is, and then realize that half of the population is even more stupid than that. So yeah, I'm curious how much they sold.
Tito Watts said in his police statement, I don't care what the police say, the tickets are solid gold, and it was Jesus who gave them to me behind the KFC, and
it's getting better and better. Jesus gave you golden tickets behind a KFC, bro. I'm not smoking, but I'm interested in smoking what they were smoking.
And said to sell them so I could get me some money to go to outer space. You should arrest Jesus because he's the one who gave me the golden tickets and—
Exactly, bro, arrest Jesus. I'm only the messenger.
Said to sell them. I'm willing to wear a wire and set Jesus up. The couple had apparently earned over $10,000 from the stunt.
No fucking way, brother. 10K, bro. Which means they actually found 100 people behind goddamn KFC who are willing to pay $100 a piece for a ticket to heaven. Bro, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I need to find a local KFC and start selling these tickets as well.
Meaning that they were able to find people even dumber than them, one of which might have been Ruben Zarate.
What did he do?
While attempting to rob a muffler shop in 2008, Zarate was told that the shop couldn't access the money safe without their manager, who didn't begin his shift until later that afternoon. Instead of bailing on the robbery, Zarate instead gave them his phone number, asking them to give him a ring the next time the manager was in.
Like, I swear to God, he also plays League of Legends. Oh, manager out, I cannot rob you. Nah. Here's my phone number. Let me know. Yeah, have a nice day. I'll be back.
They did so later that afternoon, although after returning to the store, Zarate received no money and was instead met by police and charged with aggravated robbery. Then there was the man who gave the people he was robbing something even stupider. The unnamed robber walked into a London bank carrying a gun and a bag, which he took to the front desk before demanding £700,000 in cash from the bank worker. But after making his demands, the crook handed over his gun to the cashier instead of the bag.
Oh no, brother, you had one shot. What do you mean, bro? Those 700k pounds, that is a very precise number, by the way. I feel like he wants to afford a one-bedroom apartment in the outskirts of London. Because these are the prices in there, by the way.
Investigating authorities stated, the guess is that he is very inexperienced and panicked when he approached the cashier, handing over his gun instead of a bag by mistake.
Sure.
But it was Trevor Jones who left an even more damning piece of evidence at his crime scene. After breaking into a house in Atlanta, Jones took a moment to check his Facebook on the owner's computer before leaving without logging out.
But why did you just steal a computer then, bro?
Then 3 years later, a similar story entered news headlines, reading a 26-year-old Minnesota man has been tracked down by police after leaving his Facebook profile logged in at a house he allegedly robbed.
Think about it. What if it's all a setup? What if you have a friend who you don't like, and you know that he is a sus character who can do some illegal stuff from time to time, you know? He's not a bad guy per se, but let's say you don't like him and you want him to put him away. So what you do yourself, you actually rob the house yourself. But for that, you need to have the information of the Facebook login of that friend. So you frame the guy, you log in on his account, and then you peace out. The police arrives and says, it was Timmy who did it. Not Shifu, it was Timmy. Shifu is not a suspect. But Timmy, because his account is logged in, this guy is got a big brain.
Although this story has a much funnier ending. The homeowner decided to message the robber via his
By the way, that's Snoop Dogg. Tell me that's not a Snoop Dogg.
Facebook, stating, "You left a few things at my house last night. How can I get them back to you?" Which was followed by the robber agreeing to come back to the home so he could collect the stuff he forgot.
That's nice.
However, the robber didn't get any of his items back and was instead arrested while still wearing a watch that he'd stolen from the night before. While both of these idiots used social media poorly, at least they didn't brag about the robbery in a YouTube video, as is what happened in the bizarre case of Hannah.
Yeah, like, bro, I'm curious, if we're entering already the field of social media, the question is, how many TikToks can we cover in the span of 2 minutes? Because we've got 2 minutes remaining of this video. Because let's just see, the kids on TikTok ain't the brightest, I'm just saying, bro. Especially when it comes down to following a trend to do some criminal activity and record them doing so and post that online. So I'm just curious.
Sabata. In 2012, at the age of 19, Sabata stole $6,000 from a bank in Nebraska, and while almost anybody else would have simply kept quiet, Hannah instead took to her YouTube channel Jelly Beanie to upload
2.2 million views. I just stole a car and robbed a bank. 2.2 million views. That's... I'm being very conservative in here. That's at least $40,000. No? Or $4,000. Hold on. No, that's $4,000. I need calculator, bro. My math not mathing. Hold on. Yeah, that we divided by that. Like, bro, I am brain dead. Multiply it by, let's say, CPM, RPM of, let's be generous, 3.5. Yeah, this video alone earned her $7,000. So she can bring back the money to the bank, return the 6K, and have a profit of 1.7 at least.
A video titled Chick Bank Robber, in which she'd straight up admit to having just committed a robbery. She'd then discuss her entire methodology for the crime while showing the money and the amount that had been stolen, before concluding the video by describing the vehicle she had used and that it had its license plates removed. This information eventually resulted in Hannah.
Bro, that's what I would expect from someone posting that on the internet. Straight up insanity, straight up maniac.
Sabata's arrest and sentencing of 10 to 20 years prison, done so in a public courtroom filled to maximum capacity with
King
people
Jack
who had seen the
Sparrow.
video. Just 2 years prior to this, 21-year-old Frank Singleton was being released from Palm Beach County Jail, having just served time for a trespassing charge. The only issue was he didn't have a car to leave the jail, so he decided to steal one from the visitors' parking lot, yet the car he decided to steal was a manual, and he could only drive auto.
Yeah, that's the Murica thing 101, like, brother. In the Murica, if you want your car to be stolen, just drive a manual. It's that simple, bro.
Singleton sat in the car looking like an idiot before being arrested and sentenced to a further 6 years in prison, telling deputies that he tried to take the car because he didn't feel like walking to his home about 6 miles away.
Like, bro, imagine walking 6 miles. Who does that? Nah, not that guy.
And while you may be sat here thinking that these criminals come
Me who can drive both. Driving automatic doesn't count. King Monkey, blindfolded monkey can drive automatic. Like, bro, it's that simple. You don't need to do anything. Hit the drive, that's it. Shift into the drive, you're done. There's nothing to do.
can't get any dumber, it's time to introduce 53-year-old Michael Anthony Fuller. Well, it's common knowledge that the US banknote doesn't go any higher than $100. Fuller had the genius idea to create a counterfeit $1 million note before trying to use it at his local Walmart. He loaded his car.
Why did he stop at 1 million, bro? Rookie numbers, I would go for 1 billion instantly.
With a vacuum cleaner, a microwave, and various other items totaling $472 before handing the $1 million note to the cashier, expecting $999,528 in change. Needless to say, Walmart wasn't able to facilitate this, and instead store staff called police. Fuller was later charged with attempting to obtain property by false pretense and uttering a forged instrument.
Like, yeah, straight up, I feel like most of these people in this video were in my League of Legends game at one point or another. Anyway, and that's the video, boys.